This is Newcap News with Michaela Henschel.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin in Winnipeg. A jury has reached a verdict for the death of Tina Fontaine. The jury has found Raymond Cormier not guilty of her death. The 15-year-old's body was found in the Red River wrapped in a duvet cover and weighed down by rocks back in August of 2014. The jury began deliberations on Wednesday after a 3-week trial. And one person is dead following a two-vehicle collision just east of Lloydminster yesterday afternoon. The incident happened around 3:30 p.m. at the intersection of Highway 16 and Range Road 3280. Police say a half-ton truck traveling eastbound on Highway 16 collided with a southbound car. The driver of the car was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and the passenger was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the truck was not seriously injured, and the investigation is ongoing. RCMP officers are responsible for protecting the public and they care about what residents think. The Lloydminster RCMP released its annual community survey yesterday to gain a better understanding of what residents think priorities should be. Early numbers suggest this could be a record-setting year for residents taking the online survey.
This is the 4th year that we've been doing this survey, and we've been very fortunate to have great input from the community. We've had several people, up to 450 people, take this survey in the past before, and it's only been out for a short while already, and we're already halfway to that total.
Each detachment in Alberta has its own way of acquiring information, though Kurzinger believes in the effectiveness of the 9-question survey.
So for me, I definitely see this as an encouraging thing, that the city is willing to or wanting to, embark and, work together to find out what is going on inside of our community. So it's definitely a show of strength between the city itself and the RCMP, and then just its residents.
For a link to the survey, you can visit the Newcap Facebook page. Well, dancers at Marwayne Dance Association are celebrating their 20th anniversary by setting sail.
For our 15th anniversary, we did a trip to Disneyland, and so it just kind of felt fitting that for the 20th we should do something bigger and better.
A group of 36 will be heading to Miami next week, where they are set to perform an hour-long showcase on board Carnival Sensation. The dancers will perform a variety of styles, including an homage to Canada.
Our main number that they're doing is entitled Clearly Canadian, and so we're really excited to perform that and show everyone on the boat where we're from and why we're proud to be Canadian, and we even have a Justin Trudeau cameo in the dance.
The trip is not only a bonding experience for dancers, it provides them with an opportunity to dance in a professional setting.
Well, it's definitely going to be a different scene to dance in. We're used to buildings.
I think it's going to be fun to dance in front of new people rather than just the ones here.
And once on board, dancers will also partake in workshop classes with industry professional dancers. Well, what if we could independently prove that all the beef produced in Canada measured up to a sustainably certified standard? As Gerard Lampow finds out, producer-led efforts could make that happen, especially with a financial incentive.
So responsible practices that many producers are already implementing, we're giving you credit for that so that it's something we can market to end users.
Melissa Downing, who ranches with her family in the Provost area, is the provincial coordinator for Verified Beef Production Plus in Alberta. Verified Beef is moving towards independent assessment of beef production practices.
You can get a gate sign and you'll have that verification in place and you get a certificate. And now with the Canadian Roundtable for Sustainable Beef has a verification framework that they've labeled this is, to say that you have sustainable beef.
In layman's terms, a brand Canada can lay claim to the boast, Canadian beef is the best in the world, and there's incentive.
Cargill and BIX, which is the Beef Information Exchange System, along with VBP Plus, announced that there's a pilot project happening right now, and it's called the Canadian Beef Sustainability Acceleration Pilot.
Full details are still being developed, including the dollar value that will be paid to producers. The pilot started last October, and data from the first quarter is being collected.
There's a couple of retailers on board that have committed to providing financial incentives to producers who raise cattle in VBP Plus.
The ultimate goal is to verify the production stream from ranch to feedlot to the steak on your plate.
As much as we might all be doing a fantastic job, when it comes to all the areas we're talking about, it's just a matter of having that third-party verification so that people can see it.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
Well, changing temperatures this time of the year can bring absolute chaos to the sidewalks and roads. In this week's Healthy Living, Ryan Craig looks at measures you can take to be safe on the streets.
Going from warm to freezing temperatures in a matter of hours is something quite common to see in Canada. These sorts of fluctuations, however, can make sidewalks and roads an icy mess, causing slips and falls.
Here in the pharmacy, actually, if you're using crutches or a cane, we have ice grips that go on the bottom. So it's just a little prong just to help provide a little bit more grip while walking on that ice.
If a fall on the ice does occur, local pharmacies have different medications and supplements to help with any pain.
Usually, depending on the type of pain, we'll go towards something like a Tylenol or Advil. Both will help relieve some pain, whereas Advil will help a little bit with some swelling and inflammation as well. So if that's an issue, that's what we'd lean towards.
While many times slipping on ice causes minor injuries, bigger injuries can happen as well.
If it's just like a little bit of aching pain, or like a muscle sprain or tension that way, then we can help you here in the pharmacy. Where we draw the line is if it's shooting pain and stabbing, then we worry more about a doctor involvement there, as well as if it's excruciating pain and you're not able to move, then we need to seek medical attention there. We have a lot of higher elderly population that come here, so a lot of them come in with their canes that they need an ice grip for the winter season. And then also because we do have a lot more of those like crutches and braces, we do see those go out for crutches too.
Ryan Craig, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, hosting world-class events is something typically reserved for larger centers, but if the right people spearhead the initiative, smaller communities can pull it off. An example is Bonnyville, which hosted the World Junior A Challenge in 2016. The hope at the time was that another opportunity to host a major event would come its way, and as Lance Phillips reports, one has.
After a very successful 2016 World Junior A Challenge, the community of Bonnyville knew it needed to host another event. A confident bid to host the 2019 RBC Cup fell short, but it didn't deter bid committee members. In fact, it encouraged them to bid for the 2018 World Junior A Challenge, a bid that announced Tuesday was successful.
It was almost hey, sorry that your bid for the RBC Cup wasn't successful. And our response was immediately to turn that into a positive and say, okay, we weren't successful for the 2019 RBC Cup, but what else can we do?
We couldn't be happier because, we're honored to be selected again, and we're definitely honored and excited about bringing forward and enjoying the Worlds again.
According to Hockey Canada and the CJHL, the 2016 World Junior A Challenge was the best event in the program's 12-year history. So how do you improve on something that's already the best? You don't look big picture.
We did so many things so well, but it's just the small things, and it's the processes that you anticipate. Now we can hit the ground running right from the start and know that everything that we did for that week that worked well, by the end of the week, we're going to be able to do that right from the start, and it's going to be a world-class event once again.
Bonnyville joins Yarmouth, Nova Scotia as the only locations to host the WJAC twice. And it speaks volumes about Hockey Canada's confidence in the Northern Alberta community's ability to build on the success of 2 years ago.
It's really reflective upon the people that we have here, the volunteers that take so much pride in leaving the right impression.
Hockey Canada views Bonnyville as not just Bonnyville, but maybe Hockeyville. They know that we can put on a world-class event. They know that their premier marketing partners that spend so much money supporting Hockey Canada are going to be well taken care of in our community. The teams are going to be well taken care of, and we're going to put on a fantastic event in December of 2018.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Bonnyville.
Well, as the Growing Forward 2 program wraps up, several beneficiaries can celebrate what they've achieved, including one in our region. In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Lampow learns more about water management.
We're actually ahead of our goal. We've actually achieved all of the goals that the grants were expected to achieve, and we've managed to get it extended so we can do another year.
David Berry chairs the Vermilion River Watershed Alliance. The role involves administration with regard to funding for projects. The Vermilion Alliance has benefited from funding under the Growing Forward 2 program, which is transitioning to the Canadian Agriculture Partnership in April.
I believe the 3 grants we got would sum into about $1.4 million for watershed restoration, for the riparian restoration. So a lot of landowners have been very successful in doing projects for us.
One of the groups they partner with is ALICE, the Alternative Land Use Program.
We do projects like fencing and watering around wetlands, tree planting, native prairie planting to benefit all Canadians.
Chris Elder is an environmental sciences grad from Lakeland College. ALICE is a grassroots community-developed stewardship program.
We recognize that farmers, certainly in rural areas, have a large impact on the land base, and a lot of farmers are very good stewards of the land and appreciate how important the land is and take very good care of it.
The Vermilion Watershed is part of the North Saskatchewan Watershed, and similar projects are running across the country.
I think that people have to appreciate that holding water on the landscape is important for us, for the ecosystem and for the landowners. And that's why our model is saving our watersheds one drop at a time.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, do academics and sports go hand in hand? If you ask the AJHL, it does. And recently, the league announced a new initiative, and one Bobcat player is a big part of it. Lance Phillips has more.
Recently, the AJHL partnered with Interpipeline, beginning a new initiative called the AJHL All-Academic Team. It's an opportunity for the league to recognize players who have commendable dedication to their studies at either the high school or post-secondary level. And one of those players is Bobcats forward Zach Kaiser.
It's an honor, being able to play the sport I love and do well in it, as well as be excelling in school. They always say, get your schooling done because it's important, and it's definitely an honor to be recognized.
I believe academics is a big part of society and of life, right? And he took pride in it, and he did very, very well on his SAT, scoring 1240 out of 1600 we were talking about, and that's pretty impressive, right? And to do that and be able to play hockey and is something special, and he deserved it.
The CJHL has become one of the most recognized leagues in Canada for players who wish to take their talents south of the border. And this nomination can only help Kaiser's chances of landing an NCAA scholarship.
Obviously, they look at that first, they see what they score on the SAT, and they'll see 1240. So that's a step in the right direction. And then on ice, he's just taking care of business, right? Eventually, everything's going to fall into place.
It's huge, you're trying to get into school. They look at your grades. They to be recognized like that, it's obviously something schools might look for.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports.